April. And I've decided, in order to survive, I have to get out of the bed, do what I need to do. I'm at my best, but whatever I can do to leave my legacy, it will be left. I must put on record about my 18 pages account that was disabled on after the death of my husband. I'd signed up for Des O'Connor Women in Business. So I'd gone to update Facebook, and then that was during the period when my passport was stolen. So I had no passport. They said to verify ID. I had pictures of it. I sent. They didn't. So they disabled my 18 pages account and said it wasn't authentic. All I have now is because Facebook had tried before, so I had to take out another account in my husband's name. So I got back control. So that's all I have now. Now I have it now. Facebook is playing tricks. 3 accounts. LinkedIn taken. The first with 69 publications. The final one was in my husband's name because that's what they do. I've been trying to get back on LinkedIn. No, I was an influencer on LinkedIn. Juna Sullivan sent for us to join, to comment on her blog or whatever. Others were reluctant because they knew who Juna Sullivan was. I didn't know at the time. So I joined and then tagged them. The last positive thing was meeting 2 professors. Meeting 2 professors from at the Middlesex University, leave big child care conversation, and got endorsed on LinkedIn because I said I want to get my St. Teacher qualification before I go back to Jamaica to contribute to the mental health and special educational needs because I know it was well needed out there. And all that has happened. So I'm going in because I've gone through the updated Equality Act, protected characteristics, and I'm going to show my worth. And I will start by saying District Judge Beecham, District Judge Sarah Elizabeth Beecham, HHJ Richard Roberts are the 2 that will top the list that will be going to prison for what they done to me on the 28th of March, 2025 at the county court at Clerkenwell and Shoreditch. And then I go down, I have nobody, abandoned, rejected. So I'm basically here on my own. I reach a point where I did say to her, that's what shook her up. If I become HCT group impact report of 1 in 5 of all suicides are associated with unemployment, you're responsible. That's what shook her up. I don't even need to show you. I've shown it so many times. So whatever I am saying, I have my records. I have my records. Because today is Easter Sunday. Jesus was crucified on the cross. How many times have I been crucified after bereavement and lose? Yes? Whoever put me on suspended sentence, there's a terrorist in here. She wasn't, but she's been coerced. Zeba Qureshi, you're going to hell. So I'm going to start off. Let me just look what I have here. Yeah? So whoever is coming here and I'm being blocked out. Okay. I'm being blocked out. Yeah? I'm being blocked out from saying my truth. So then I'll start. I'm not even gonna I'm just gonna look at what I have at my thing here, and I'll be naming names. So I'll start with my story because no human being, yeah, is supposed to be going through what I'm going through. Yeah? Yeah? See, I see Floyd Green in this picture. Yeah? That's 7 years ago. And here I am today, seeing my son put up for whatever. It's not easy, but I have to take everything on it because as long as there's breath, let them come and remove me out here until I can, and put me on the street until I can go back there. So I'm gonna do this today because I'm only functioning like this. I have some meat, as I said, I can rustle up. I have bread. I can rustle up something to eat, and I take out my smoothie that I have in the freezer, so I'm not gonna go hungry. Yeah, but this is not the way I'm supposed to be living. But what can I do? So I will start, and I will go in reverse, and I'm using the updated Equality Act for those who are of a delicate disposition, like District Judge Beecham, who needed an Equality Act assessor to help her to groom Tristan Salter. I don't know who Tristan Salter is. So I'm going to do this in stages. Yes? I won't let them go over too much, and I'll be calling names because your names need to be called. So I'm going to make myself comfortable. And where should I start? Yeah? I will start 2024, yeah, to 2025. And because, so okay, 2024, I will start to 2025 and try and be as specific. Yeah? And I'll only include the dates that are important because I'm trying to get things in a tight bunch. So you hear my voice and you see my face and you understand the trauma, the traumas that has been piled on me because of a system where Nye Bevan, the founder of the NHS, said no society can call itself legitimate if a sick person is denied medical aid. You're looking at a person who has worked in the NHS. Yes? King's College Hospital NHS Foundation Trust, Mapata House Day Nursery, 2003 to 2008. I said that was where my ideal job. I would stay until I was ready to go home because I had no intention to retire here. It was a well-known fact. So when Housing for Women complained their foolishness, it was a known fact that I had no intention to settle here, to retire here. I was waiting on my husband to transition so I could go. And I would have probably have gone this year because all I was doing waiting. Yeah? But now what has been done? Yeah? If I wasn't strong, I wouldn't still be here talking. So I'm trying to see how I should do this. So I covered the Equality Act. Yes? 2024 to 2025. Try to give it a year. And the most important date, yes, of 2024 to here is my husband admitted to the hospital. Yeah. So my husband's sister had died during the time of her transitioning. Her daughter was telling me what was happening with her. So I simply said to Vashti, all of them are generals and criminals and scammers. I simply said to Vashti, you have to be very careful, because she was telling me how her mother was wanting to come off the bed and when she's not in the room. And I said to her, you have to be very careful that your mother do not harm herself, because the authorities will hold you responsible. So what happened, Vashti is in Jamaica with her mother. I gave her advice. I didn't go tell her to restrain her mother the way she did. So she sent the thingy to me and I kept it. And I'm going to tell you how sense is sense. After her mother died, I posted it as a means of trying to say survival, early intervention is survival, is key to survival. So that was my intention. I didn't post it until after her mother died. But when I tell you my story, you will understand. When my husband ended up, it was my husband ended up in hospital. I done all the recordings. YouTube is hiding whatever they want to hide. The morning when my husband got up out of bed, he couldn't get up out of bed. My husband could not sit upright. That's why the other day when I started getting the tremors and I couldn't sit up, I had to lie down. So I called the ambulance. Yeah, I'm trying to let you see how our body works. The morning we get up, I got up, and my husband was unable to lift himself to sit in position in bed. So then I didn't panic. I shuffled my husband off the bed to the side of the bed so he could come off. By that time, he had wet himself. My husband went into the bathroom, and that's when realized the extent. So whatever happened, that's gone. I'm trying to give you the basics. Yeah, my husband was in so much pain and whatever. We don't call ambulance until we can't manage. But the one thing about it is God always give you a last chance. My husband recovered enough to fix breakfast for me. And after that, it was downhill all the way. So he fixed breakfast for me and him, had his breakfast, and then it was downhill all the way. Yeah, he was in excruciating pains. And when the ambulance came, was taken to St. Thomas's, then he ended up in Guy's. So he was in Guy's and St. Thomas's for a period where I'd go in there and I sing, do all those recordings and everything. So the decision was made within 3 months. My husband didn't say. Whilst in the hospital, he made up his mind. He said he wants to go home, go to heaven. I have those recordings. What YouTube has done with them, I do not know. People were waiting for me to come and sing. I'm tying up a period. Yes? So decision was made. There was nothing else to be done for my husband. People, when I said you have top honorists in their field coming to talk to my husband because they couldn't understand how a man of that age could be in that condition. It was like, you know, I didn't intrude when these professionals are there because it was not mine. So I didn't get them in my whatever. I know where my boundaries are. Yes. So it reached the time now for my husband to transition. And the decision was made, there was nothing else the hospital could do for him. Yeah. So they said now he needed to go home somewhere. So it was either gonna be, I know my husband didn't want to end up in whatever. So I made the decision and I said, my husband has a big house. I have never lived at my husband's house. To this day, I don't regret not moving there because what is happening to me, probably terror would have killed me already. I made the decision. I said, okay, they're going to give certain amount of support for my husband. So then if he's in his own place, he wouldn't be getting overnight care. So I made the decision that I would go to my husband's place to do my final duty for him because I had no intention to stay here. And we made the arrangement. The people who were involved were so good. And I made the arrangement that because this place was so tiny and they needed a hospital bed and all the accommodations, and so I made the decision. I said, you know what? I will make the sacrifice, do what I have to do for my husband to the end. So arrangement was made for the equipment to be delivered to Wilson Road because I was going to make the sacrifice. Never lived there, but I was willing to give up whatever to be with him for the end and see he gets the best outcome. And after arrangements were made, my stepson decided that his father wasn't going there. When I went, because I said the equipment were to be delivered, I could never for a minute, but maybe I should have suspected when his father told me certain things. But I could not understand how a son, yes, he's adopted, but he's Tomlinson by blood. He's my husband's nephew's son. So that's why my husband adopted him because he didn't want him to suffer. Because he took his nephew when his father died at a young age, and his father said he should take him. So Dudley was the first one came in. When I said, you know what? Because I hadn't been there and I didn't know what was happening and blah blah blah. Let me go and see the place before the equipment went. I took the keys I have here because from my husband and I went there. He didn't go back, so because my husband's son took out the equipment in the bed, my husband's bedroom. So anytime we go out, like if we go out to the hospital, because it reached a stage now where I didn't allow my husband to go out on his own anymore because I realized somebody had to take him here. I didn't even remember that until it was mentioned in court and they're making it look whatever. So I gave up everything out so I wouldn't allow my husband to go to the bank alone, go nowhere alone again, because he was targeted about 3 times. Yes. When I realized, I said no. So what we would do when we're going out, if we're going to the bank, we're going to collect medication, we're going to wherever, we make it a day out. It had reached a stage now where we go in certain places, I get a cab, and then when we come in, we struggle on the bus. When I realized that Trevor had broken up my husband's bedroom set and lean up the bed, I couldn't tell my husband. It was about 6 months after. And I remember we were coming home and I was crying, and I know. And my husband did not go back to his place after that. I can show you the keys. But because I couldn't think for a reason. The relationship I had with Trevor, even it had gone bad. But I couldn't see how a person could treat. But now my sons are treating me no different than Trevor. Then I begin to understand. It was me and the same brother now who sold me a mouth organ, a 16-pound mouth organ. He said somebody was going to pay him 1,000 pounds for it. So he said how valuable it was. So I said, okay, if he was going to get 1,000 pounds for it, I will give you 5. And then after that, now man is going to say, I did promise to pay him the rest little, little. So he was the one I asked. People, be very careful of all these people you see coming around. They don't mean you no good. I asked him, I said, can you go with me to see that the place is? Because I'm not very good at certain things. And when we got there, keys were changed. We could not get access. Trevor changed the keys. So at short notice now, I had to call up the people, and they were so good. They made arrangements so it's a smaller bed that could hold. I have to spend the time moving things out. So all my good, I'm on a bed there now. It's catch up with bricks that Robert bring. My good bed. I'm on something that you can feel the thing. I had to take. Yes, I'm a hoarder. As long as on my top of my head, then it's okay. I had to take out my bed, take out the sofa bed to get my husband in here. And people, if those hospital people, and I made a thingy about the last time and everything, they don't see those things. They only see when they provoke me to get an whatever, and then they just close this bit in. Yes, they don't see all the good I've done. Yeah, so there's a video thanking all the NHS staff. They don't see those. Yeah, people would be waiting for me to come and sing. Not only black people, white people. The white people even enjoy my singing more than the blacks. If I am here and my husband is agitating, the hospital staff call for me to come. That's a relationship I had at Guys and St. Thomas's. I go there sometimes and I break down, and people would shield me and say, don't let him see you crying. I remember I walked into the hospital one day, one of the time to visit, and the first thing he says to me, when I'm gone, will you be able to manage? And I said, yes, Tom, I'm putting the people around me to manage. I remember I go there and he said he wants to come home so he can fix my breakfast. But I know Tom wasn't coming back out. I did all I could for my husband because he was why I am still here, waiting to sort myself out to go home. When Trevor changed the lock, the people were so good they made arrangements to change. Before that, Robert, I asked Robert, just hoping. I said, Robert, go and check for me. And when Robert go, Robert said, Trevor said nobody's coming in there. And that's why I can't understand why Robert was behaving towards me the other evening the way he was. On the 27th of February, throughout what was happening now, I'm talking whatever. On the 27th of February, I had to call the ambulance. I had to call the police 6 times for what was happening to me here. Yeah, the people were supposed to come with the bed, and when the guy came, luckily Asian guy, we had a laugh about Arsenal. And if he wasn't persistent, because they refused to allow him to deliver here, yes, I had to call the hospital people who were responsible, and then yes, we got the delivery done. And whilst I'm here, 6 police officers turned up here. I called I called about 6 times that day for what was happening, the stress and what they were doing to me. And they didn't come about the call I made. 6 police officers turn up here. Yeah? Door is being left on the latch so they know whatever they're doing. And I hear them knocking at my door. So I asked, and it was the police. So that's my private number. That's my private number now. Mimi Awuso working with Housing for Women. That's my private number. And if YouTube don't hear this. How many days now YouTube don't hear? But YouTube used to be sending me emails because they're concerned. YouTube makes sure people can't see my posts. People can't subscribe, but they're making money out of me. When I open the door, when I look, I've never seen a battering ram before, but it needs no. But this thing was put down at the door. One of the officers asked if I know Arnold Tomlinson. Remember, my husband is in hospital. So if you know so much, you would know where my husband is. So one of the officers asked if I know Arnold Tomlinson. I said yes. So I said, do you want to come inside? They came inside. I'm not going to go over all of it. So basically, I said, is that a battering ram? Why did they come? Because they were told they see somebody tied up in a bed. This is a woman. This was not a recent picture because I waited until after my sister-in-law had died, and I was using it to try and tell a story about safeguarding the elderly. Yes, because they let Tess died on her own, naked as the day born. Anyway, the gist of the conversation was police see this picture. Police didn't see the picture of me and Mark Rowley. Police didn't see the picture of me and the video of me and Seb. No, Nigel Pierce. Until they didn't see any of those pictures. Me safeguarding, me singing in the hospital. They saw the picture of my husband's sister. Any sensible person would have seen that it's not this environment. It's a small bed room in Jamaica. Yeah? And the question, do you know Arnold Tomlinson? Yet Arnold Tomlinson is in hospital waiting to come. And then it expires that one of the persons already knew my husband had been here before, because my husband raised his stick at me. Yeah, I'm not saying he's going to hit me, but when a person is traumatized and going through certain things, don't take chance. I did not call the police in a malicious way. I just wanted to be on record. So one of those 6 who came asking me if I know Arnold Tomlinson, he's the one reminding me he came here before and why he came. Because my husband raised his stick at me, so I made sure this was known to the police. So I'm just showing you how I am being broken down. Right? I'm going from there. My husband came home to die because he's had enough now. The trauma. If whatever wasn't happening, probably my husband would have lived a few more. I'm positive. But he reached a stage now, the trauma he couldn't take anymore. And during the time my husband was here, the kicking of the door, I have the videos there. And all that happened. So yes, that was the 27th of February. Yeah. Throughout all of this, it had reached a stage where my husband had asked his son not to come back here because of what he was doing to us. So my husband had asked his son not to come back here. And there are videos of him coming out there saying, I must open the door, blah, blah, blah. And yet Barbara McCoy went to court, go say whatever, Trevor was helping me. And some of what's happened is because Miss Gilchrist told Trevor Tomlinson that I was abusing his father. And then you look at Mimi Owusu's 12-page witness statement for Housing for Women, what they said, because she sent Trevor here and whatever. She's the one calling me. Yeah? She is the one calling. She didn't call the house phone, but it's the house phone and whatever. Yeah? 325 calls on my phone over must be 3-day period. And then when she called this, she called the house phone. And this is right throughout. I don't know if she has a gadget that is set to call my phone. I don't know. But this one is withheld. No, this one is private and that is withheld. And sometimes when I look on my house phone, it is my number that is calling my number. I don't know how they do it. And I don't know how I'm still alive. I don't have a nervous breakdown. I don't have blood vessel burst in my head. I don't get a stroke, but God has me. Yeah? So after everything is said and done, yeah, my husband introduced me to V. And then V came down and I heard that whatever. Now it seems as if all of everybody's again, even my own. I'm dealing with one at a time. No human, don't care how wicked I am. No human being is supposed to be going through this. Let Housing for Women come put me out here. Yeah? It was my husband's birthday coming up. And me breaking down, court and everything. So I'm being hauled to court. Where was District Judge Beecham with your Equality Act? Assessor District Judge Beecham. When you said you wanted to keep the case, why did you want to keep the case, District Judge Beecham? So you can groom Tristan Salter. Who is Tristan Salter, District Judge Beecham? You're going to answer those questions. You're going to answer those questions, District Sarah Elizabeth Beecham, for why you allowed whatever has happened. Yeah? So you wanted to keep the case. And I am saying, okay, she's on my side. She wants to see this through. If you don't believe me, listen to what I'm saying to the police officers. One was stood between those two flags. And she's saying about injunction. And I said, you know about the injunction? too. And District Judge Beecham was me, is she the one, whatever? And I said, no, she's the nice one. So can you imagine when I found out, when that idiot, ranting, raving lunatic, I now know his name is HSJ, Richard Roberts, is going to say about another whatever. If you have this person in high esteem, like I held District Judge Beecham in high esteem, the same thing with Juna Sullivan. And then to find out now that this woman is a pervert. She wants to hold on to the case. Yeah? What is it about these women and hate? Yeah? So I went and I wrote what I found out. So you idiot, bastard, pervert, let me show you why. All of you gonna get it. Yeah? Let me show you my evidence. Because I've spent the past how many years writing. So here it is. Yeah? So I'll need to find these. Yeah? I'm not gonna read it. I need to find them. So I need to whatever. I need to find everything. Yeah? And I'm in here for the long haul. Yeah? So here it is. You want to know the reference? Yeah? County Court Money Claim Center, 28th of February 20. Court manager, claim number G08YJ214. Complaint against the county court at Clerkenwell and Shoreditch. Address is there. Yeah? This is an official complaint about the above after I have reached the final straw. That was what my son said, I understand, in the meeting with him and Moreland Wilson. And now they turn against me. Resulting from the letter dated the 17th of February 2020. It was later on in November, 30th of November. They came in here to murder me under cover of Leave Margaret on. I spend my time writing. So here we are. Yeah? Yeah? Claims struck out being totally without merit, there being any discernible cause of action against the defendant. Yeah? Before District Judge Manning. I didn't even remember his name. But for some reason it's here. Yes? I'm just going to make them in an hour and then they go. Anybody who I have name on here, come and take me out here, put me on the street while there's a terrorist and a racist and a sick person. If I wasn't careful already, I would be harmed. And police come and join them. And you want to know the other one? I say I take everybody and I write everybody I read. Yeah? Claimant, Mrs. Mervelee Myers versus defendant, Independent Police Conduct, IOPC, claim number F21YM135. How many pages? 4, 5, 6, because I was answering. Yes? I'm asking God to keep me going. Because the world is going to know. Yes? What is happening in this country? That a woman who has done so much, if nothing else, take care of an old man. Yes? Where are you people? Come tell me about, don't put certain things on here else you're going to lose your dignity. I've already lost my dignity. How many times? Yes? Where are you? Today is Sunday. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. How many pedophiles are harming children at Leaf Nursery, at the University of East London, wherever you are, pedophiles? Where is YouTube people who were concerned about me? Where are you, YouTube? What's your community standards? Have I breached them? Where are my thingy? I paid 2,000 odd pounds for one 10-minute thingy. Where is it, YouTube? Yeah? I'm doing this in stages because this is called survival. Survival of the strongest. Survival of those who are appointed by God to be martyrs, to carry the strain for Miss Presley and her son, to challenge Zeba Qureshi, who are bringing Asians over modern slavery. Yeah? Richard Blakeway. Yeah? So these are the ones now. Can you go look on housing for women thingy and see who is there in there? Look at the Asian names. Devonshire solicitors. Yeah? The Equality Act protected characteristics. I'm not looking a job, but I'm entitled to my roof over my head. I didn't do anything to deserve this. Yeah? Yeah? Chapter 3, General Qualification Bodies. Is it any wonder? Richard Blakeway, you're going to fucking hell too, Richard Blakeway. Because I took a claim out you and you get some solicitors to contact me. But you're gone undercover. How many of you have I taken? The Asians at Devonshire solicitors, sprinkled with the white, so they'll get Tristan Slater. District Judge Beecham, you're going to prison, girlfriend. Sarah Elizabeth Beecham, who was appointed in 2019, I wrote to Robert Buckland about Diet. And then Diet didn't show up, Parfit show up, and then Diet came back and they vacated the cases. And by this time, my brother said, leave it. So I said, you know what? I haven't received my £9,000 from Ryan Clement. Have I? No. All those claims, where are they? Yeah? So when you come, when Swan strike out 5 and you come impose restraint order, I've been through all of them. Samantha tried the echo, it didn't work. So you think you're dealing with an idiot. So you trigger my atypical Parkinsonism. I'm out for almost a week. When I couldn't even sit up. I have to lie down. So when I called the ambulance, I was actually lying down on the 24th of March. And then the next thing after they left, I got a phone call about welfare check. So of course I answered the questions. They said they're sending somebody in an hour. Within 10 minutes, 2 idiots came. Yes, I recorded them. These things are hidden. Yeah? So I go back. I'm doing this in specifics. I'm doing this in specifics so the world know that District Judge Beecham, you're going to jail. HAJ, Richard Roberts, you're going to jail. Colonization in reverse. So yes, after everything was said and done, my husband was in the hospital in a state, needs shaving or whatever. Yes, I am having to go to court. The 4th of April, I was in court before that idiot, Sarah Elizabeth Beecham. You can label me a violent nuisance. So I am, based on my fact, because you needed an equality assessor to come help groom Tristan Slater, I can call you an idiot. Because if you weren't an idiot, you would know about the Equality Act. Same way the police boy stand up here tell me, oh, he does criminal. So he doesn't know about the Equality Act because he only does criminal. So am I a criminal? I asked him the question, am I a criminal? So everything is said and done. Yes? My husband's birthday, the 8th of March. He had banished Trevor from here. But me being me, I don't like keeping families apart. So in the end, V came and we conceded and he came. And then my husband has to tell him leave again. Anyway, On the birthday, because it was supposed to get somebody, V was trying to get whatever, but no, looking at things, V wasn't looking nobody. She had her plan. So Trevor eventually came. He trimmed my husband. We had our little thing for his birthday. I have him there singing happy birthday, who came. And then the next day, throughout my husband's birthday, going into the next day, he started agitating, and I just couldn't cope. And Trevor was the first person I called. And Trevor said he would come. Then I had to call out them. They didn't come, but they give me guidance to help me, because I'm on my own with a man who is journeying, and it was getting to me, considering my trauma. The first, the last to see my father alive, and the first to find him dead, and the impact of saying to my mother, Mama, Papa is dead, and she was like scream out, and she said, no, he can't be dead because he didn't get a drink of water. That had a lasting impact on me until I was at the end of the phone when my mother was dying, and knew she had her family with her, because I felt guilty that nobody was there, and Daddy, Papa didn't get a drink of water, as Mama said. There was a lot of trauma I was carrying, but I still get my life together. So when I'm here struggling, Trevor turned up. Remember, I called Trevor, his father is agitating. And Trevor turned up. And I thought Trevor come with good grace. And I'm so tired from all that is happening. And Trevor went into the room, and I am in the room with Trevor. Because by this time, I don't trust Trevor around his father. But I had no intention to do anything other than record or whatever. So Trevor is in the room. He put his bag on the chair. And all I did, as I said, people, I was so tired from the little celebration and all that was happening, and me with my thingy. So Trevor laid his bag on the chair. He must have been watching me. He had some ulterior motive. And all I did was reach and pick up the bag, because all I was going to do is put the bag on the side so I could sit down, because I wasn't going to leave Trevor on his own with his father. If you understand where my mind is going with Trevor, the relationship where it had broken down. By the time I pick up the bag, Trevor grabbed the bag and chucked me. So I started recording. As a result, the ambulance was called and the police was called. My husband was taken to the hospital. And the way the police were treating the situation, she joined in. My neighbor joined in a situation that don't belong to her, but she joined in because she had told my stepson that I was abusing his father. And in the end, they made the medical ambulance people made some defamatory whatever. The police were trying to get me to press charge. And like with my first husband, when he done what he did, I didn't press charge. And then because Trevor works in the prisons, I didn't want to jeopardize his job. But now who ends up being the worst off? Me. So let the world know I'm doing this hourly rate, because the world is going to know what country we are living in. Yes, a country that can, after my husband is dead, a country that after my husband is dead, I am now a victim, a unsuspended sentence to be made homeless. Now, how do you justify this? On the 4th of April, I was in court when District Judge Beecham, now I'm looking at the way they work, disclosed Trina Filbert's pregnancy. And after court, Trina Filbert provoked me. So I said what I did. And I don't take it back. Yes? Did I attempt to harm her physically or not? No, I used the weapon I have. Because now I'm looking at it. The same way I'm looking at why things are happening. These Asians who is working at Housing for Women, turning up here, can't speak English. On the phone, can't speak English. The other day, one call about, do you have whatever? I know it's them. Sounding like the scammers who call you and give English names. Zeba Qureshi is operating modern slavery thriving in UK, so she get rid of the people who are in the whatever and bringing the Asians over. Yeah? And they say, Richard Roberts, you're going to prison. And District Judge Beecham, colonization to reverse, you're going to prison for grooming Tristan Slater. So you got an Equality Act paid for. Yeah? So I go back to the fort. Yeah. You can't stand your heel. Go put your head in the oven that Robert fixed for you. Go and put your head in the oven, yes? Yeah? I call the police. They can't do anything. This is more than whatever, putting a trigger to my head. Yes? So that was the 4th. Yes? Of April. You deliberately did that, District Judge Beecham. Now I'm looking at it. And all this time I'm thinking you're on my side. You're nice. You want to have a good outcome for me. Well, you probably had already weighed up my husband's property thinking it belongs to me. No, I've never lived there. I had no interest in it. Yes? So that was the 4th. So now all those things is coming in the thingy of me breaching injunction. Now, District Judge Beecham, you're going to prison. Who is Tristan Salter? Yes? On the 6th of April, I went to the Windrush Vigil. I came back here because I had things to do. Then I went into the hospital, and when I went into there, what did I see? My husband falling out of bed. The same way his sister was tied up, I know it is dead, pushing him along. He had no control over it. But because these nincompoops don't understand fuck all. So when I got there was all I see. There was a man pushing a trolley around, serving food. And I saw who I now realize is Nurse Betty. So I walked into the cubicle, Byron Ward. He was on his own. So when they're talking fuckery about whatever, Gail Lewis Wright, and I have the names of them, you will hear. I walked into the hospital. I walked into the room. I saw him falling out of bed. Who came behind me? Nurse Betty. Nurse Betty didn't even glance because I work in a situation, especially with special needs, and it's a delicate situation. You have to be observant. She didn't even see what I see. She just walked in behind me and came back out. The same way they would put food and nobody tried to help him. And telling me when I go, oh, he's eating and he's that. And by this time, my husband stopped eating. Those are the lies. So that's why when I see the lady who is NHS or whatever, whistleblower or whatever, I recorded it yesterday and I posted it how many times. Yeah, because these are the things. Because we're going back from when I had the first nervous breakdown. So what I did, yes, when I see the lady come in, the nurse come in, and not even glance at my husband. Can you imagine if I never got there? So I made sure I didn't do any recording. No, not at this point. I made sure I secure, because my husband's feet were already hanging over the bed. What did I say? So he was about to slide off the bed. That's how these babies and whatever. Because nobody see anything. And then they hush it up. So maybe if he hadn't been there and he'd fallen off the bed, they'd probably put him back in the bed. The same way they had walk and stroller said, tell me he was walking for me to take him home. That's how they treat me. What I did, I secured my husband. I put my knapsack down. I made sure he's secure enough not to fall off the bed. And I went back out the room, and only person I saw at the time was the young man who was pushing the trolley around. I said to the young man, can you get somebody to help me with my husband? And he went off as if he's going to find somebody. He came back in the room. This young man, he had good intentions. He had good intention because he see me went to find somebody. He didn't find anybody. And he came back in the room. But he come back in the room, he started handling my husband. Remember, I said he was serving food. He started handling my husband. He wasn't wearing a gloves. He had no safety gear on. I am particular to certain things. Don't get me wrong. I've been through the system. I've done every training. I've done healthcare assistant training, anything to do with special needs, anything to do whatever me. I done a course in health and social care. That's when I realized that I am not supposed to be taking these medication. I have to use a holistic approach because once you become dependent on them, there's no going back. That's why nobody was going to give me risperidone, especially if I don't need it. If I need something, I'll take it. So then, for my safeguarding, for the young man safeguarding, for my husband safeguarding, I take out my phone. Then I could just, boom, this one now, my finger not working. So I have to go put in whatever. So I punched it and I started recording. Yes? In a case like this, I don't have to tell the young man that I'm recording. Safeguarding is everyone's responsibility. Equality Act, GDPR, whatever, I've been through them. In a situation like this, the same way somebody recorded George Floyd, my man will get away. I don't have to tell anybody I'm recording. Sometimes there has to be covert surveillance. So there's no way I need it. So the young man said to me, why are you recording me? I can't remember if I said anything to him, but he backed off and he went out of the room. He didn't argue. All he asked, he said, why are you recording me? And he left and he went. But the next thing I know, the young man came back. So it seemed as if he's Nurse Betty. Yeah? The bitch. The African bitch. The young man came back telling me, I must delete the video. I wasn't arguing with him. But then Nurse Betty came back too and started arguing. So I walked her out of my husband's room. I said, get out of here now. I don't think I was recording then, no. Because I already recorded the young man. It was after done. I said, get out of here now. So then a black West Indian lady come and was talking to me. And then they did some check. And then a white one came, and the two of them came and was now taking care of my husband. Yeah, the only person who took care of my husband in the hospital was a nurse by the name of John. I'll tell you more. All right. So the next thing, I went out of the room. Now my husband was getting attended to, so you have two nurses. Because the black one had to wait for the white one to come. When I was in St. Thomas's, guys, in St. Thomas's, I would say, just tell me what I'm supposed to do. So if one nurse come and she wants to, I see, because the lady said short staff, I know about. So all I would say, direct me and I can help. And it's good for me. So whilst the two nurses were now looking after my husband, I walked out because remember I said I was just coming from Winwell's vigil. I was very tired. I walked out of the room. I'm talking to myself. I do talk to myself sometimes, not about madness. I might be reflecting on certain things because that's how I get it. I have to reason it out. Like if something come to my head and if I don't have something to write it down, it's gone. A song might come in for don't record at the same time. That's me. That's how I. The next thing I know, Nurse Betty started saying something, and I know I wasn't talking to her, and what I was saying had nothing to do. So I walked back into the room. I sat at my husband's bedside because I didn't want to be in an environment now where Nurse Betty is going to trigger me, and then I start off. Yes, it can happen. I'm sat at my husband's bedside when 3 security came, 1 black, 2 white. They started asking questions, blah, blah. I said, no, I'm not going. In the end, they said I need to leave the room. I need to talk to them. So I left my coat on the chair. I wasn't expecting what was happening. The next thing I know, they take me, whatever, in the lift, manhandle me or whatever, carry me down the lift and telling me to get out of the lift. I said, no, I'm not going to get out of the lift. My coat is up there with my bus pass and everything. So how can you treat me like that? It was the black one who said he would come back and get my coat. And he came back and get my coat and brought it to me. So that was the 6th. Remember, I said, I'm tired. I'm coming from Winworth Vigil, have to do this and that, and to be treated like that. On the 7th, I ended up again in accident and emergency because of what happened to me. I was distraught, people. The 4th, what happened on the 4th? This will just be you're going to fucking jail, you. For the 4th. You deliberately reveal Trina Filbert's pregnancy because you know they set up. So when I left court, she delayed. She came out of court before me, but she delayed because she know I was going to say fucking something about her pregnancy because she provoked me. Proper provocation. I don't trouble people on this. And if I talk, it's my truth. I didn't hit you or attempt to assault you in any way. And it's on record. I record it so you know I'm only talking. That's my rights as well as safeguarding. Yeah? Now I'm here on the 8th. Distraught. I took my mom the last thing. I think I took. No, I don't remember. Anyway. I'm here on the 8th now. Accident and emergency. Everything is changed. I think it was Robert sent a message about condolences. So my husband died, and even strangers were aware of my husband's death. I was informed over 5 hours later. Who informed me they wait until Nurse John. I connect names and people. So John is my husband's name. They wait until Nurse John, the only person I see take care of my husband on Byron Ward, come to work. So they had my husband's body lying there. So I was not called until 1 o'clock. Nurse John called me to tell me my husband was dead. Whilst other people knew and were contacting me. And my stepson, who had abused his father, locked him out of his house, come here, when he come home to die, come abuse me in front of him. So that's what caused him to end up back in hospital. Was, of course, informed. So he was there. I only knew from the report that I got from Gail Lewis, another black house slave. Yes? And you, H.J. Roberts, Richard Roberts, come talk. Fuck about whatever was said on the 17th. Yeah? When I said to them, do not remove him until I get there. So, Gail Lewis, you and you, whoever, right, or whatever. I got there, I did what I need to do. At one stage, I made the recording. And I said, listen, I have to be asking questions. No, I'm not allowed in there. I said, easily tell me. Yeah? So that was the 8th. Whatever was said and done, I'm leaving that there. So my husband went into King's Byron Ward on the 9th because of what Trevor Tomlinson done here. Died on the 8th. Yeah? And the way District Judge Beecham write her thing, like as if these things are not important and whatever. District Judge Beecham, you're going to fucking jail, bitch. Your restriction don't hold fuck all. You're going to jail. And so is H.J. Richards. And then when you take these, all who is involved, you're going to jail. Starting from King's College Hospital, everybody involved from that case, you're going to jail. Where is YouTube now? Where are your people who are concerned, YouTube? Where are they? Where are the people who are concerned about what I'm putting? Are they not concerned now? Are they not concerned anymore? Yeah? Yeah? So there's a terrorist racist upstairs there. Yeah? So my sons can abandon me. You're gone. Yeah? 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 So let me put whatever is out there. A terrorist racist is upstairs. Yeah? And I am here, waiting to die slowly of torture. While the biggest kids get cushioned. When Zeba Qureshi, you're going to prison? What are you going to prison for, Zeba Qureshi? Upon your fucking Facebook find group. Find out fucking group. Where in my 18 pages account? Huh? Find group for what? What am I finding group for? What am I finding group for? To do what? A racist terrorist junkie is upstairs. So let me put these in Scambuster. Safe space for them. Yeah? So, District Judge Sierra Elizabeth, come take it off, bitch. Beecham and Tristan Salta and Devonshire Solicitors LLP and Emua Ali and HAJ Richard Roberts charged under the Equality Act 2010 PRO protected characteristics. HMCTS criminals from King's College, ET, when I was a participant in Dr. Maria Hudson the experience of multiple discrimination for the policy STU Studies Institute recommended. ACAS housing for women. Right, let me put this here, sir. Reference www.leaf.org.uk for Richard Harty, Men in Child Care, Mervelee Myers did a voice of a child project for June O'Sullivan in 2010 meet Chris Pascal and Tony Bertram at Middlesex University and was endorsed on LIN on 22nd of the 9th, 2015. There are abusers disguised as drag queen. Hide them when we put them on. Which one me reach? That you know me reach. Alright, we need to finish this. I'll press on. That's some rate. Thief. Alright. We could do them today. We're going to show the world not only post office scandal, it's not only post office scandal, it's a lot of scandal. Murderers, pedophile, thieves, rapists. Yeah? Let's deal with it. Let's deal with it. Come take me out here. It's Easter Sunday. How many can I do today? Let's see. And put your fucking name in there. Are we joking with you lots? No, we're not joking with you. Where there are pedophiles and perverts and rapists and racists, and man in here kicking my door who was a normal person, then you know. Call the crowd. Where is YouTube people who used to concerned about me? Are they still concerned about me? Are you still